All right, coming back at you with Coach and Andy show. Obviously, I have a guest. You're not seeing double. We're just doing it in stereo. All right, so we're going to wait for some audience members to get on board. Lots to talk to you about today. But I wanted to prove some facts that go with all of my clients and not just one or two. So while we're waiting for you guys to get on board, come on board. Get your questions ready. You can ask us anything. All right, so we'll just gather. We're going to talk specifically about diet and all this overemphasis on measuring stuff that gives you the illusion of control doesn't necessarily give you the results. We're going to talk about that. Of course, you all know Andy, my protege, and this is my client, Jordan. So Jordan's here to join us today because he's just in from the oil fields. How's that going, having been off from work from the 12-hour shifts?
It's pretty nice.
There's a reason Jordan's here. He works 12-hour shifts way up in the oil fields without a kitchen, and he still manages to do this with his physique. So never always an excuse to not do something you're supposed to do, always an excuse to get it done as well. So how many people we got on board there, Krista?
13.
13. We'll wait for a couple more. Should I stand up? Oh, wait. All right. We've got a few things to go after today, folks. Any questions coming in, Krista?
No.
Okay, good. So get your questions ready. We're going to talk diet specifically and specifically talk about the illusion of control of all this over-quantification nonsense that's going on all over the internet. So I want to wait for more people to come on board that, because if we don't, we're going to get asked the same questions over and over again. So how do I look with my bookends?
Oh, hi, Krista from Australia.
Hey,
That was
the
for me.
Aussies are on board. So yes, we have Krista on camera today. So she's actually coming here during her workday to help us out because our usual cameraman is off on vacation. So we still wanted to bring our live session to you, so that's what we're doing. So we're just waiting for the list to build. Once we get about 20 people, then we'll get into the conversation of diet. So we're past that mark?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go, folks. I want to lay to you the realities of how we do things in the Able Camp to get you away from being controlled and obsessed with numbers. All right, so many of you follow Andy. Many of you have read my books. We're going to talk cycle diet. We're going to talk the anti-diet approach to weight loss and weight control. We're going to talk about permanent weight loss and metabolism. Andy, how many calories do I have to eat in a day?
No idea. I don't know. What's a calorie?
There you go. Andy doesn't count calories. If you follow us, you know that. Jordan, how many calories do I have you eating in a day?
No idea.
There you go. Jordan doesn't know either, and he's getting ready to compete. How many grams of carbs do I have you eating a day?
Beats me.
How many grams of carbs do I have you eating a day?
No idea.
So, how can they possibly look good? It must be all genetics. No, it's about expertise, folks. So, again, how many calories are you burning on your fit day every day?
Yeah, no idea.
Do you own a fit day? You
No.
use the app?
No.
You use Fit Day on your app?
No,
okay.
not
And here's a guy who doesn't even have a kitchen for most of his job, where he works 12-hour shifts up in the oil fields. No kitchen, no fit day, no nonsense. We're all about keeping it real, keeping it right, keeping it truth. The practice is in expertise. You shouldn't be controlled by numbers, all right? That's the illusion of control, not the element of control. So, Jordan, just maybe take your shirt off, show them what you've been working on. All right, this is Jordan getting ready for a classic physique contest. I posted pictures of him a while back, so you can see we're not counting calories. We're not counting grams of carbohydrates. We're not into that kind of number nonsense, because this is all you need. And then biofeedback. Jordan checks in with me on a regular basis, tell me how he's feeling, how the workouts are doing, what his concentration levels are like, his performance levels are like, and we upwardly or downwardly adjust calories accordingly. So, Andy, pretty much the same?
Absolutely, yeah. It's all biofeedback, definitely.
Yes.
Andy, what was your weight and how did you look before bulking up, and how much you gained before going on the cycle diet?
I got pretty big when I bulked up. Like I was close to 300 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
I bulked. Yeah, that was about that was close to 2 years of bulking.
Yeah.
I did it the right way. I obviously put away the mirror. I probably didn't have a mirror big enough to see myself in. But, I probably dieted for I think about 12 weeks straight to get into super compensation. I've been on the cycle diet ever since. I haven't looked back. So
So yeah, you bulked up for 2 years, but now you've been lean for what, a dozen?
Yeah.
So worthy trade-off. Now most people, their egos can't handle. That's the difference. That's why he became a protege of mine. He bulked up until he didn't need, until his metabolism was optimized enough that we said, yes, there's enough muscle there now that we can sculpt some of it. As we always say in the able, you can't sculpt a pebble. You can't sculpt what isn't there. You can't sculpt what you don't have. You're not going to get six-pack abs and gain 20 pounds of muscle at the same time. That's just marketing nonsense, all right? So this is why we do what we do. And Andy had the balls to bulk up. Well, squeeze it in. Had the balls to bulk up for as long as it took for him to be in the right place at the right time metabolically, that when he dieted down, he would maintain muscle and be able to keep adding to it without compromising metabolism. Very, very important. So you've seen some of Andy's cheat days. I hear you recently had a pretty epic cheat day yourself.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jordan had a cheat day getting ready for a contest. So again, none of this closer to the contest gets the less calories you eat. You've been on the same calories for how many weeks?
8 now.
Yeah. So
Indeed.
just because the contest is getting closer, we don't just start arbitrarily cutting calories. We say, how does he look? How does he feel? What does he need to do? Well, what he needed to do was at a cheat day, and unlike your diet days, you decided just for your own curiosity how many calories you ate that day. You calculated
11,100.
11,100. Any highlights you want to share with us?
Oh God, it was all highlights.
It was all out.
Is there some pizza?
Give
yeah.
them some examples
Yeah.
of what you might eat. Breakfast, lunch, whatever.
Pierogi pizza from Boston Pizza. That's my favorite. I had 2 double fat burgers with
Nice.
3 fries.
Good choice, man.
I ate a Blizzard. What else? Breakfast I had a 6-stack of white chocolate raspberry pancakes, eggs, 4 pieces of toast, peanut butter, oats. It was insane. It was
There you
just
go.
beautiful.
And
Sushi.
did
I
it
ate sushi.
did it ruin his physique, folks? Do you see? Oh no, I cheated on my diet. I look so bad. All right? No, that's not what happens. So again, all this measuring and counter measuring, and all these ladies out there, especially who are psycho on a diet, breaking rice cakes in half so they can weigh them to the decimal point. You know, no. Okay, so what we do, all about the biofeedback. What's your training like? What's your work-life lifestyle like? What do you need to do? We go by that, and that tells me how to raise or lower calories appropriately. Not even calories, because we don't count calories, but raise and lower portion sizes appropriately. So you do something like 150 grams of 180 grams of chicken
Yeah.
with 180 grams of potato, 150 grams of potato.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, we might reverse that for a couple weeks just to create a different water effect, that kind of thing. So that's what we do. So yeah, so we have a lot of other things. Any questions about diet coming in?
No.
Everyone's just
Lots of people are reacting
okay.
positively.
All right, yes. Folks, don't forget, Facebook loves thumbs and hearts. So if you throw those across the screen, then that works for Facebook reaching more people and inviting them in. So if you don't know about the Cycle Diet, check out thecycle.diet. That's thecycle.diet. Why don't you turn around and give him a side chest shot there, Jordan, and then we'll get Andy to join in. I got some stuff to share with everybody. Yeah, I don't know how that's looking out there.
Lots of thumbs up.
There you go.
More.
Good stuff, man. All right, give him a last spread, and then we'll move on. It's like a pose down. This is like the old days. All right, good stuff. All right. So that's from an 11,000 calorie cheat day. All right. So don't tell us it doesn't work. You've been doing that how many years?
About 12, yeah.
12. I've been doing it for 3.5 decades. So there you go, folks. So don't tell us that you can't learn how to optimize metabolism by having refeeds. It's all in the Cycle Diet course. Yes.
Does the cycle diet work for vegetarians and vegans? I
Well-
just checked in, so if you already answered this, sorry.
It's a great question. Of course it will. It's all about the metabolic state you're in, not about the kind of food you eat. So you have to be in what we call supercompensation mode, which is an accelerated metabolism mode where when you introduce a whole lot of calories, it goes to where it's needed first, and that'll be to restore glycogen stores in the liver and in muscle, as well as what we call intramuscular fats. So as long as you create supercompensation mode through dieting, then it really doesn't matter you're vegan or not vegan. The challenge would be then on a refeed is to really get your maximum bang for your buck in terms of the refeed, because if you're vegan, it's harder to get really calorie-dense food. So you would have to go to Dairy Queen and put your mouth under the ice cream filter and just then turn it on and don't stop until you're full. That kind of stuff really works well. But yeah, for sure, if you're a vegetarian, then that's the kind of stuff it would take. So good question, great question. Yeah.
Can you please describe some of the biofeedback you were looking for and what type of diet changes will be adjusted in relation to them?
Well, for instance, Jordan checks in with me every week. Maybe he's had a hard day on the oil fields, and not so hard day on the oil fields. What we do is summarize the week of his check-ins in terms of how he's feeling, how strong he's feeling in the gym, what concentration levels are like in and out of the gym, that kind of thing. Of course, he sends me pictures so I can monitor feedback. But unlike the cookie cutter approach, which you got to listen to my Smarter Sculpted Physique podcast this coming Monday on that with Desiree Walker. But unlike what most people do, ooh, the contest is closer, we should cut calories. Based on no biofeedback at all, what I do with my clients, it's all about what they're telling me their bodies are telling them. So what it took a couple weeks ago or a week ago, whenever it was, for Jordan, is that he needed a refeed and he needed it now. So, and guess what, buddy? One more this weekend.
This is what I've been waiting for. I was so excited for today to hit. I was like, God, I hope he gives me another one. A couple more sit-ups before I get here.
There you go. So another cheat day coming Jordan's way as well, and for you, no big deal because you're doing it every week.
Yeah, business as usual. Yeah.
So that's the cycle. That good question about biofeedback. There's other factors, how well disrupted sleep, deep sleep, those kind of things also factor in. But it's all about assessing where the body's at, all right? It's not about counting calories. If you have a coach who has you counting calories and grams of carbohydrates and the rest of it, you don't have a very knowledgeable or sophisticated coach. They're going by industry nonsense, all right? The illusion of control that numbers provide. I would hate to be someone at my age walking around a mall with looking at my fit day to see how many steps I'm taking. I mean, that just is insane to me, and I call that life inside the thin cage. That kind of stuff breeds obsession, folks. And I've seen it. When I used to train competitors, like I said, I would literally have competitors breaking rice cakes in half and asparagus spears in half to weigh them, all right? And they'll get assigned things like their other coaches will say, you're allowed to have 117.5 grams of green beans at this meal. How are you supposed to weigh a half a gram of green bean? But they do. And this is the stuff that creates nonsense and obsession. The thing about all this is when Jordan's done with his contest day, he goes back to living a normal life because he's not a slave to numbers and obsessed with numbers. That's what matters, all right? You also have to have fitness of mind. And there's a difference between obsession, all right, and mastery. Huge, huge difference. When you start becoming obsessed with all these numbers and judging yourself by them, ooh, I didn't break my rice cake in half, bad me. You start doing that, you're on a path of self-destruction. Trust me, I've seen it. And then you start weighing yourself, and for no reason you've gained a pound and you think you're fat. This is what happens when you start getting trapped by numbers, all right? A scale doesn't tell you how much is muscle, fat, or water. It just gives you a number. Do you know how much you gained after the cheat day?
No,
Did we even bother?
I haven't weighed myself this year.
He hasn't weighed himself this year, folks.
The doorbell rang.
Oh, don't worry about it. What else?
That's all for questions, and she just said thanks. Love the individualized approach, and lots of thumbs up.
Can I say something about
Absolutely.
that? Before I used to do it, the numbers, cookie cutter approach, I'm this many weeks out, I need to cut down this much, this many weeks out, I have to cut down this much food. And I felt terrible, I looked terrible, I was hungry, I was weak, I was dizzy, it was so hard. But if you take a more casual approach and just go by food and what you're eating and use your body as feedback, the difference is astounding. It's like, I feel incredible right now.
It's all about learning to listen to your body and realizing that your body is worth listening to. Don't dictate to your body, listen to it. It has wisdom to offer you, and isn't that all we've been working on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a different situation now.
Yeah.
Because
And it should be fun. It shouldn't be a survival mission to get in shape. If it's a survival mission, how long do you think it's going to last, folks? All right? Fitness should be fun. There should be a fun factor, a challenge factor. This is all about the challenge. That's why you like doing it, right?
I love doing it.
And then it's over, and then you get back to your life and all that. So very, very important as well. Yeah.
Would you recommend eat nothing in between meals, like on the cycle diet when bulking up, and how much time in between meals?
you should never eat between meals, unless snack is part of what you call part of your meal regimen. But you never eat between meals. That's a terrible habit to get into. We see a lot of female dieters who are given things like, oh, feel free to snack on celery and carrot sticks. That is a bad habit to get into because it starts with celery and carrot sticks. And what that does, it starts inviting the mind to tell you when you're hungry to respond to hunger cues by feeding. When you feed a craving, all right, you make it stronger, all right? Feeding the craving is feeding the craving monster. The way you starve the craving monster is by not feeding it. So every time you have a snack outside of mealtime, you're creating a feedback loop in your brain reward system that's going to want more of it every time you even sense a little bit of hunger. Cravings come and go, just like cars passing you on the highway. That's how you got to look at it, all right? Oh, I have a craving. Acknowledge it. Don't fight it. Anything you fight with, you make stronger. And that's even worse for negative thoughts. Ooh, I got to battle my cravings. No, you don't. You just got to let them go. All right? So, and you're practicing that right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, and you just let them go. So, never, ever snack between meals. It sets up a ridiculous feedback loop that will be hard to break. Remember, it takes a habit to break a habit. So, that's a very, very important thing to keep in mind. It might start with carrots and celery sticks. Trust me, it'll end up with cookies. So, keep that in mind. Good question. What else?
Darcy just says, I love your live chats. Keep up the great work, and lots of thumbs up.
All right. We love hearing that. All right. So another thing I wanted to get to, and then maybe we'll get back to diet, but I really wanted to emphasize we don't count calories. We don't measure grams. We do engage with portion sizes, right? So we'll weigh, I'll add portions, take away portions, things like that. Now, one of the things that I take issue with is the way the strength industry and the functional training industry like to glorify specific exercises.
Yeah.
One of which happens to be chin-ups. You talk to strength trainers and people in functional training, and they think the chin-up is some glorified movement that measures all kinds of things. Well, if you're in the physique transformation mode or the physique development mode, you want to build mass with class, the chin-up is just another exercise that doesn't have much relevance. All right, I had one of the best backs in bodybuilding in my day, and I couldn't chin up to save my life. How good are you at it?
Yeah,
Mediocre?
not so good, yeah. I rarely do them because of that.
Yeah, and it used to hurt my shoulders and my elbows, and I know other people can vouch for that. And how about you in chin-ups?
I'm lighter now, so I can do a few more, but usually it's pretty pathetic.
I wouldn't put them in a program just because it's not going to benefit me any. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
A set of 3.
Yeah, like.
And how many people can even do that? So here's what I wanted to demo today. If you want to develop a back, looks like a sack of boa constrictors or a sack of rocks, all right, the most effective exercise for that's not a chin, but associated similarly with the movement, is the reverse grip pull down. So we're going to show you what that looks like. I'll get Jordan to do it, then I'll get Andy to do it. So Jordan, you want to just, you can just sit right on your ass, just grab it and...
Face the camera?
Well, you can't face the camera, so just, no, we want to see your back anyway, so reverse grip, and then just go down to you sitting on your hunches there. Yeah, move back here a bit. There you go. Yep, all right. Move in and sit up to perpendicular. Yep, just do your, good. All right, yep. Reach up and pull it down. All the way up. Get some pumping going. Let's just see it. You adjusting, Krista?
Yep.
All right, pump it up, man. Go ahead, pump it up. Do it with some attitude. Look at, folks, the wings, outer lats, rhomboids, terrace group, trapezius 2 and 4, Christmas tree at the bottom. Awesome, good stuff. Can you get that visual, Kristen?
Yeah.
Did it show up? Good. All right, man. Lock and load. And the sit system muscle group, what we call supraspinatus, infraspinatus, subscapularis, and the teres group. You can see them all working there, Andy. Give them a shot. So again, the reason I use these guys is the visual impression they leave, because they're both lean, so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking through my hat. Andy gets it up. He goes for the big reach. Boom. All right? Boom. See it all squunching together. Cross striations in his rhomboids. Christmas tree in his lower back. Boom. Awesome. Good stuff. Get both you guys in here with me. Yeah. Now you're looking good, brother. What happened? You're all pumped up. All right, so that's what we're talking about. You know, the reason I have the guys and when, you know, come see me, take their shirts off, because when I talk about stuff, I want to be able to point it out to you, right? So it's good that I have anatomy charts like these young fellas who can illustrate exactly what I'm talking about. So don't glorify the chin-up. You're reading it on a functional training page or a strength training page. It doesn't really apply to physique transformation, physique development, all right? It's very, very important to keep those things in mind. Anything you want to note about the reverse grip pull down?
Nah, not really. It's definitely one of my favorite back exercises for sure. It's something that I can really feel a lot of. Get a really good stretch out of it. Definitely easy on my elbows.
A lot easier on your
and
elbows and
shoulder
chins.
joints. So that's a big thing.
Any thoughts you have on the reverse grip pull down? You just do what's on your program.
Yeah, but it's the same deal though. Like it's easier on your shoulders and your joints.
Like compared to doing like a chin up. Oh man, like pull downs and
hurts.
Absolutely. Even the machine pull ups are definitely a good option too, as opposed to just pull downs. Like a lot of guys don't want to use the machine.
Yeah.
Chin up machine, right? Because they think it's
But the straight chin up so hard on the elbows, and a lot of people end up with medial epicondylitis from that. What we call golfer's elbow. Some end up with tennis elbow. That's lateral epicondylitis. That kind of just from doing motions like that. All right. This is much more effective, much safer. Notice how you can pump out the reps that way as well. So very, very good idea. So any questions coming in?
Linny says, take your shirt off too, Scott.
No way. No way. This is young buck territory. No.
And then also a question.
Okay.
Hi, Scott. I recently switched from a body part split to your hard gainer workout. I love them. I'm not a hard gainer, but wanted to switch things up. I notice I'm not sore after these workouts. What are your thoughts on this? Is soreness a sign of muscle growth, or does it not matter?
No, soreness is not a sign of muscle growth. What we call DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness, has to do with shearing of muscle forces, what we call collective microtrauma, all right? It doesn't really, usually if you're training programs, changing programs, doing a new program, you'll experience some DOMS for a couple of weeks, something like that. It tends to go away. That's just a sign of training adaptation, okay? That's just something that should go away. If you're always sore, there's usually something wrong with that, bud.
No, you just changed my program, and my legs were so sore. Like it's not like I'm out of shape, but just the change in exercises. I mean, I could barely walk for a week, right? So, but this week it's a lot better, right?
And that's only 2 weeks in.
Yeah. So
yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, you change it when you change programs, you'll experience something like that. But then it should get a lot better after that. So very important. So good. Other questions? No other questions.
No.
Want to talk diet some more? Have I ever had you on a no-carb, low-carb diet?
No, absolutely not.
Have you ever been on one?
I wouldn't do it. Yes. And
Tell them what that was like.
It was near death. It was literally, I felt terrible. I had zero energy, headaches. Every time I stood up to walk, I'd almost fall over. I was so dizzy.
That sounds like worth doing, eh?
Oh, and the results were like I'm leaner now than I was when I did that. It's just.
And how was your workout performance?
Oh,
if you couldn't even stand and walk.
I couldn't row an 80. Like I couldn't do anything. It was horrible. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't remember where you parked your car
either. No. I shouldn't have been driving. I'll tell you that. I shouldn't have had my car there.
So how sustainable is something like that going to be, folks?
You can't.
So let's stop with the keto and the low carb. You think these bodies are built by not having enough energy to train and sustain? Give them a double bicep before we go on that question. There you go. So. All right. Question.
Does it matter if grip is close or wide?
For the reverse grip pull down? Whatever doesn't hurt your wrist. Now, I just threw this at these guys, but normally they probably use power straps. I know I do.
Yeah, I
you do. With back work, you want to use power straps because otherwise your grip gives out earlier, or you'll be inviting your body to use your biceps more than you should. So whatever's comfortable, but usually just around shoulder width tends to be about right, or maybe just inside. But that's a personal thing. So, do you have any preference?
I use like the easy
wider?
bar.
Oh yeah,
that easy bar, and then if you hold
like that bar right there.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you hold kind of right there, kind of on an angle too, it's easier on your wrist.
Let's show at the gym. Let's show kind of like the cambered.
Let's show. All right, hook it up there. Now, hang on. Let me give you some real weight. just do it. It's not a bad little. Can you get it in there, Krista? Okay. Yeah, and really lean into it at the top. That full stretch. Maybe stick that there. Awesome. Good. Good. And that kind of answers it for you, right? Because you got the bar on there, and then so that's a good option right there. So feel it out in yourself.
Yeah.
Both
Definitely
ways.
more. Yeah, definitely more of a wider grip. Not. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's too close, it just feels like more,
Bicep.
more biceps.
And also
Yeah,
hurts.
yeah.
I find it hurts my wrist, but that's because
Yeah.
all the arthritis I've got built up. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on drinking 2 Garden of Life protein drinks a day, along with 2 balanced meals and snacks?
My Garden of
This
Life
one's going.
protein
I don't know.
drinks comes out of a garden. Well, let's not laugh at people because it's a legitimate question. Read the question again.
What are your thoughts on drinking 2 Garden of Life protein drinks a day, along with 2 balanced meals and snacks?
I don't think much of that. Folks, there's no magic in what's called engineered foods. Engineered food is a marketing term. Another word for engineered food is what, Andy?
Supplements.
Processed.
Or process. Yeah.
You're looking at something that comes in a canister? I mean, I have to laugh. Where was I driving the other day? And I saw something, I think the store was called Right Nutrition. And you go in, there's nothing that's actually grown from a plant. It all comes in canisters. Powders, yeah. Powders and potions and pills. Oh my. No. So you want to get your food as much as possible. Do I have you on any supplements?
No, not.
That's actually you just brought up a good point.
Yeah, no,
I don't have you on any supplements?
No, and if I'm hurting and I need something quick and I'll grab a shake or something like that, and it just, I can't, my stomach, it's not right.
It's not real food.
No, I can't even eat it. I'd rather not eat than have supplements like protein shakes and stuff. No, Whole Foods for sure.
Yeah. So maybe 4 meals a day. Who was the person? What's the person?
Linny? And she
Lin-
said thank you.
Lenny, maybe 4 meals a day isn't so bad, but having 2 of them coming out of canisters and powders, not so good. Not if you're looking at physique transformation in real terms, where you can have the leanness with the meanness. All right, so very important point there.
Yeah,
You
she
got a
said thank
question?
you. No, not so far. Lots of hearts.
Lots of
And
hearts.
lots of
All
thumbs
right.
up.
Anything else, folks, or I'm going to get these guys to reshirt and we'll exit the protocol. I don't know.
Creatine. I know you don't probably recommend, but I've heard you say it's the only supplement with any real science behind it. Do you recommend it to anyone?
Sure, creatine works. Problem there is, and I don't know why, it's easy to blame the gender hormones, but for some reason creatine really bloats women more than men. So, and then there's a quality factor. Some creatine is almost like cocaine. When they used to cut cocaine with baby powder and stuff, creatine is cut with all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah, filler and stuff. Yeah.
Filler and, so yes, if it gets tested, it says it's creatine, but it's really so full of other crap that it's been diluted down in effectiveness. But real pure creatine, yes, it definitely works. Creatine is what we call an adaptogen, folks. An adaptogen is defined as a substance or protocol that helps the body adapt to stress and returns the body to homeostasis after stress. So creatine is a great adaptogen, and you want to keep that in mind. I still don't advocate it for my clients because I just don't see anyone at a high enough level where it would be advantageous, and it's more advantageous really for strength athletes anyways.
Yeah, that low rep range. Yeah, that's where it's really gonna, benefit you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sub 5 reps. That's where it's gonna.
Yeah, because you get a lot of tissue leverage from it as well.
Yeah.
So it
yeah.
tends to
Yeah,
work
it's a
around the
solid,
joint.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So very important.
What are your thoughts on blood flow restriction training? In what scenario
Absolutely
is
ridiculous.
this necessary?
This is. You want to take that off?
Yeah.
Before it
We were
keeps
just
banging.
talking about that actually.
Yeah, folks, this is about this just shows how much nonsense on the internet that if something's posted, someone somewhere is going to listen to it and share it and think that this is wonderful. This is called vascular occlusion training. All right, so what people are doing, for those of you who don't know, is this my tank top? Give me my tank top. So for those of you who don't know, what it means is I'm going to tie a tourniquet here around Jordan's arm, all right, and then I'm going to get him to pump up weights with a dumbbell or something, and because we're vascular occlusion exercising, we're keeping the blood trapped in the muscle, that somehow has relevance to growing the muscle. Absolutely freaking unbelievably ridiculous because it doesn't follow any of the principles of exercise physiology that you need to know about the removal of fatigue toxins from a working muscle, for one thing, and how mitochondria and myofibril components work together in terms of what we call a pump, lactate, and the importance of lactate. So for all these reasons and more, what a crock of shit. Okay, so, yeah.
Can you speak on
Sorry,
rep
I
tempo?
gotta interrupt. Whatever happened to just pumping iron?
Yeah, no gimmicks there. Just
Whatever happened, or just,
Workouts.
you know, like, hanging
Yeah.
and banging. Like, let's just
Yeah.
get into it. Like, man, I mean, how many times this week have we talked about being at the gym where some banger's sitting on the equipment on his phone?
Yeah. There's repeat offenders for that at our gym for sure. Yeah.
I ended up, and all he did was switch seats. He went from one piece of equipment where he didn't do anything. I got 4 triplexes done. 4 sets of triplexes, takes about 12 to 15 minutes. I didn't see him do a single set. Then he went and sat on another bench for another 5. Oh, it was a seated row.
He's got the
And he was on his
fastest thumbs in the
phone.
Okanagan.
Yeah, his
Fit thumbs.
his thumbs are primed. His thumbs are primed. And so don't give me that stuff that you're checking your workout and you're checking that. You're like,
No, yeah,
do
this
the
is just
program. Apply yourself, folks. Apply yourself. I mean, you don't get like this by sitting on your phone in the gym, all right? No, it doesn't happen, all right? Yeah.
Can you speak about rep tempo?
Oh boy, people, these must be new people not following me very much. I've talked about rep tempo till I'm blue in the face. Rep tempo is another mistake because it's outside in influence. You check out, again, what do I refer to? Pumping Iron, the movie. Check out the original Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 70s. Tell me any of them are counting ridiculous rep tempos or after they're set, walking over and making notes in a book. All right? They're hanging and they're banging, all right? All about the biofeedback and the pumping of the iron. Now, I explain in my course, Program Design Masterclass, where the myth of tempo training comes from, but also why it's a myth. If you understand there's only 9 things that resistance training can accomplish. One of them is decreasing transition time. What that means is going from eccentric to static to concentric phase of contraction. All right, one of the training adaptations to that is that time decreases, right? So people took that research out of context. It started, the other part that goes with that, okay, is that we know static strength, all right, how much of a weight you can hold versus how much you can concentrically contract or a muscle shortening, all right? Static strength is 20% greater than concentric strength. Eccentric strength, how much weight you can use to lower a weight, is 40% greater than concentric strength, okay? Now, what the wannabes did is they took that research and said, well, if that's true, then we should control rep tempos because that will affect, if I'm 40% stronger, then I should lower it slower, and if I'm stronger static, then I should hold it for a 1 count. But if you understand decreasing transition time as a training adaptation, as well as what we call a decrease in Tmax. A decrease in Tmax is a decrease in how much time it takes to reach force max, okay? That's just fancy graphics. This is all in my Program Design Mastery course, of saying that explosive intention on the muscle is important and muscle pumping is important. So you want to choose a weight that challenges you for the reps indicated. Never, ever use tempo training. You want to focus on the muscle, all right? You want to think, I know I watch you right in the gym, you think stretch, contract,
it's
stretch,
all
contract.
internal feel for sure.
Squeeze.
I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3. Like it's
Makes
just
no
that gives you
sense.
way too much to think about, and it takes away from your performance too. I mean,
Yeah. We use words like stretch, we use words like squeeze, we use words like peak contraction as we're doing a rep. We never ever do outside in nonsense like counting tempos, all right? That's going to throw you so off track because now you're thinking so much about tempos, you're not feeling your muscles anymore. The whole idea is to get self-connected with what your body, what the muscles are actually doing. You can't do that. If you're thinking about tempo, then you're not concentrating on muscle. And I've talked about this in my book, The Able Approach, and so many others. Huge, huge difference between thinking and concentrating, all right? Those are huge differences. And then once concentration becomes automatic, that's where you end up with these kind of physiques. Have you ever employed tempo?
No.
I don't have you doing it, right?
No, it's just mind-muscle connection. You squeeze, you hold, there's no numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
You
becomes
just-
second nature, really, when you're in there.
Exactly.
You just feel it. It's like, anything, really, any sport. You
Yeah.
think no one, Wayne Gretzky didn't have to think about a slap shot. He just,
And I always
I just
said,
did it, you know.
I just did a workshop in Dubai, and one of the things I explained when they talked about tempo is I'd never seen an MMA trainer try to teach someone to throw a more powerful punch by doing it in super slow in pause.
Good point.
All right, it's silly. All right, this is just more of industry nonsense that it starts with a principle that's sound in science, and then it gets mutated by people who think they understand something they clearly don't. Hopefully that answered the question. Give me a
There's a
comment.
few questions now.
Okay.
So when you refer to supplements, are you also referring to taking vitamins and minerals?
Yep. Read the book Natural Causes. Read the book Muscle, Speed, and Lies. Read the book Do You Believe in Magic? All outlined there. As a matter of fact, the biggest study on men in Finland studied 75,000 men in Finland, and the ones who took multivitamins are the ones who got sick the most often. And the people who didn't take any supplements, multivitamins, are the ones who maintained better health throughout the years that they were studied. That's just one that I can think of.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch to do with metrics and stuff and the sleight of hand and all the rest of it. And I've also spoken to you guys on my Sunday breakfast show, my own involvement as an endorsed athlete for the supplement companies and sitting on the board of advisors for some of the sleight of hand and stuff that goes on. Don't forget, they have legal teams who decide what they can get away with saying, not necessarily what works. And don't forget, various supplement companies will petition universities, etc., to do studies. And I told you about this. Was it with you? Did I do this one? Yeah. So we discussed this, where one of the supplement teams that I was an endorsed athlete with solicited 7 different studies from different universities for their fat burner. 6 came back as having no effect at all. 1 came back as having may or may not contribute to fat loss. Well, because they don't have to tell you, the consumer, about studies that they've solicited, they were able to go in and advertise may help with the right diet and may lead to weight loss without having to tell you that 6 out of 7 of their solicited research funds came back with no effects at all. So this is the kind of stuff that's allowed to go on since the Diet and Supplements Act in the 1990s allows the supplement industry to get away with, well, craziness. All right. So if they were under the same bounds and government restrictions as the drug agencies were, then you'd be seeing a lot more of the same type of warnings you see in drug commercials on TV, which, may cause this, may cause that, may cause this, may cause that. But what it's going to do, all this supplement use, what it's going to do is that it may cause you a lighter wallet. Yeah.
How much does a machine like the one behind you cost?
This one was about $4,300, and that's because you can get them cheaper.
it's
But
a commercial one.
yeah, I got a commercial weight stack. So if you go into one of your stores that sell these or look online, you want to make sure you buy a commercial weight stack. If you don't, then the whole stack is going to weigh like 25, 30 pounds, and you'd have to be a real beginner. Go ahead, Doug.
No, I think they're just built better too. Like the commercial ones are a little bit more heavy duty. They can take some more wear and tear, as opposed to ones that are made for home are usually just a little cheaper.
Yeah.
In quality, so they're gonna probably fall apart faster.
Yeah, definitely. So, so that was a good question. But this, if you can get this, I mean, my home dungeon is pretty small, but it's got pretty much everything. So there's not a whole lot you can't do in a gym like this. I got 3 sets of dumbbells with power blocks and the rotator element. And I got heavy dumbbells, and I got an adjustable bench and the functional trainer, and I got some exercise tubing if I need it, and really that you can mimic almost any exercise that comes with heavy pieces of gym equipment. So I know you've trained here, I've trained. I mean, yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
I understand surfing the curve because of you, but why do so many natural trainees seem to do better on low rep range, 5 to 8 versus 8 to 12 reps?
They don't.
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say that goes across the board.
Yeah, they don't. They just think they do. They become members of these websites that promote the age old has been along since I first started this industry, looking for knowledge and looking for help. The strength industry myth that keeps perpetuating, train for strength and development will come. Wrong, 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 wrong again. All right? The truth is train for development and strength will come. When I give you a program and you're aiming at an exercise that I give you and say it says, did you work out today?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first exercise of your workout, what it was? And
Yep. Incline dumbbell curls.
okay, did it say for how many sets and reps?
Yep.
Okay, so is that what you're thinking about, or are you thinking about how much you're lifting?
No, I think about what I lift, and I guess the reps too, but lifting properly.
Yeah. So it's not about how much you lift. It's about how you lift. All right. So there's a lot of people we see that think it's all about how much you're lifting.
And I do a set of squats for 15 to 20 reps. That feels a lot harder than doing a set of 5. I can tell you that much right now. So you know, that's big time.
People don't understand program design. I was just in the gym the other day, and the comment made about what I was doing was, wow, that's really, really light. You can't lift more than that? Well, yeah, I can, but that's a different day. I'm not in here to prove to you how much I can lift. I'm in here because I'm following a program, and today that program is 15 to 20 reps. Yeah. Next time I hit that body part, it'll be 5 reps, and then you can hold about how much I can lift.
It's all important, but I mean, it's
but I'm not here to impress you. Yeah. I'm not here to show. Oh wow, the hot chick just walked in. I better lift 80s this set.
Who's watching me work out?
Yeah. Who's watching? Yeah, I really. So it's all about programming. So again, that question just shows someone who's been drinking the Kool-Aid because they don't. That's not true. That someone says, "Oh, the natural guys do way better in this rep range." That's not true. That's just what someone said, and a bunch of people shared and liked. All right, that's not what research says.
That's not a blanket statement or something there.
Yes, and you have to understand other things as well about the size principle of muscle and contraction and maximal voluntary neural activation and things like that, which there's no point in me explaining. Yeah, go ahead.
Robert wants to rephrase his tempo question. I wasn't implying that a person would stick with a count, but rather should a person be using momentum? Definitely want to focus on the muscle, not the count.
Oh, there's all kinds of exercises where momentum's a factor, right? I mean, we talk about that all the time, right? Yeah. Some people do things so strict that they negate the reason for doing it. Seated row, right? You see people in the gym with what I call the personal trainer influence, right? And the seated row is all, oh, you got to control. No. You got to lean into it. You got to hang it and bang it. All right? Same thing for side laterals.
Go ahead. Cheat curls yesterday. I did cheat curls and just
I mean, there's a difference between cheat.
There's a difference between using momentum and just using your body to flow with the movement.
Body English, very natural, right?
Yeah,
Seated row, one arm row, you name one.
The side raises, dumbbells occasionally. You gotta get nasty.
Yeah. That's an exercise where you want to put some
hang them and bang them. I mean, we taught Krista that a couple weeks ago, right? So we taught you how to go from the personal trainer, into hang it and bang it. So yeah, body English and momentum, knowing the right exercise to do it. And like Andy says, there's a window within which that works. Yeah. A cheat curl is, yes, body English. What a cheat curl isn't is a lower back exercise, okay? Yeah. Exercising futility. So again, if you're doing something with momentum in order to lift more weight, then you're using momentum to lift the weight. That's not the intention ever, okay? But again, you go back to pumping iron, and you'll see a lot of momentum and what we call cheating. Well, I call body English because I don't like the word cheating when it comes to that. But yeah, very, very important and a great question.
Lydia's asking now to show the row. Show us the row. Yeah, I think so.
All right, sure. Andy, you want to grab the bench? And because I don't think Jordan's done one of these with us.
And she also asked about foam rolling while you're maybe getting set up. Do you believe in this, or is it pointless?
Well, you know what? All the way down. When foam rolling first came out, I was attacked viciously for saying what nonsense it was. And because everyone in the fitness industry, get out of my camera shot, musclehead. Because everyone in the fitness industry loves their Vogue trends. And when foam rolling came around, everyone was roll your boat. All right? And then I was saying I don't see the advantage in it. Well, since then, a lot of top experts have come on board to say the same thing. Mark Ripito, who else? Lots of guys. Who's the strength center? Charles Poliquin, J.C. Santana. All right, so it's not as effective as just a good static stretch. you're going to be way better off with that. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those fads that has come and gone, right? We went from doing BOSU being the next magical thing where you should do every exercise you've ever thought of on a BOSU ball to actually having articles written in industry journals called Death of the BOSU Ball. So this is how the industry tends to operate in vogue trends, right? Who knows what'll come around next? TRX. I mean, just 2 years ago, here in Kelowna, you had to pay $250 to get certified in a TRX. Well, why not, I should start charging people $250 to get certified in the dumbbell. Because the dumbbell is the most versatile piece of equipment in a gym. More versatile than a kettlebell, which also costs to be certified in. More versatile than a TRX. It's the most versatile piece of equipment because you can mimic almost everything else with it, and yet no certification for the dumbbell because everyone knows how to use it. So all these things, you know, the rings. 2 summers ago in Vancouver, there was a certification for the rings for CrossFit, $700. These are just tools in the toolbox, folks. There's nothing magic about them. All right, maybe I should have a certification in the cambered bar because Jordan just showed you how to do reverse grip pull downs with it, and I can think of 2 ways to do tricep push downs with it. Maybe I should get people certified in it for $500. All right, so got to watch out for vogue trends. All right, your toolbox and everything are just tools, and that's all they are. You got to know the principles. All right, you got to know the rules, not the tools. All right, and that's what matters more. Good question. I like when you get me hyped. All right, let's show you some seated rows here.
I don't know what would be the best.
You know what? Let's use the straight bar. Where did I put it? Just go. Yeah, okay. Here's the straight bar. Jordan, someday I'm going to introduce you to this fella. You're going to like that.
Body pad? Body buddy?
Yeah, you ever seen one?
I've seen it. No,
Right in the middle. Just we're going to go all the way down, but just to tighten that up. All right, Jordan. Just all the way down, Andy, so Jordan can tighten it. I'll get you both to do it. All right. So you can use overhand or reverse grip if you want. Now, this is one of our favorites we've done in a previous one before, is the low to high seated row. Because I can go from the floor with the cable, anchor my feet, I can actually go from pulling low to pulling higher, whereas a seated row machine in the gym won't let you do that. Way, way safer on the lower lumbar. Andy, you've done it before. Hang it and bang it for him, and then we'll get Jordan to do it. So this, I think, was the question because they were asking how to lean into it for seated rows. So Andy's going to show you how to do it, unless that's really heavy. Is that okay?
Yeah, I might lighten it up a bit.
Okay, go halfway. It's just for demo.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
I've been warmed up right in this. I don't want to.
Make sure they're not even. Make sure my eyes are even with your muscles. All right. Yeah. So you're going to get back far enough. He's going to get his feet anchored. All right. He's going to lean in. See how you lean into it? Oh, yeah, he's got it. And then explode on it. Check it out. He's going to pull from low to high. Boom. Good. All right. And let's let Jordan have a go. Yep. So that's just with an overhand grip. Go ahead, Jordan.
Can we change my grip or just?
No, we can do the same grip it's just for demo. But you can see, folks, how my people, we lean into it. We hang it to bang it. So, boom. Yep. Give it some oomph, buddy. Really pump it up. Bam. Bam. Yep. There you go. All right. Awesome. Good. Good. Yep. How'd that look, camera person?
Great.
All right. Hopefully that, did that answer the question, ladies?
I think so. She said thank you.
Okay, good. All right, so that's just another example. You got to lean into it because muscles stretched with resistance receive the most overload, right?
Absolutely.
So you have to know how to stretch the specific muscles you're targeting in order to get that overload. You were going to say something, I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, I can't remember about the seated row or not the seated row or anything like that. Jordan, turn around and give him a back double real quick before we leave. I'll get out of your way because you're just way too huge for me. There you go. There you go. Okay, good stuff. Hopefully that shows up. Jordan's getting closer. So, yeah. So notice if you go back, watch from the beginning. We do all this stuff. No counting calories, no counting grams of carbs and grams of fat. That's not how we work. We start with an initial portion-controlled meal layout, and then from there, we go by biofeedback. Andy's at a point now, he just does his own meals, right? I mean, that's part of your Andy's Awesome Abs program.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been doing it this long. It's, you know.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. Tell them about here's for the vegan question earlier. You have a vegan meal. Which one is it?
Yeah, I do rice, chickpeas, and any kind of bean.
Black bean, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
it
yeah,
last
black
time?
beans usually. That's usually my go-to. Sometimes kidney, but you can mix it around, kind of.
You put
Changes
any
it up.
oil on it or anything like that? Or you just...
No, just different spices, and I have a couple different ways I do it. But there's also the salad I do every day too, the spinach salad. That's just nuts and seeds and olive oil. There's no
There you
animal
go.
products.
So
on there,
not pure vegetarian, what we call flexitarian. So lots of vegetarian meals, but some animal protein here.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there.
definitely.
And then we won't even talk about cheat day because
Yeah.
I saw him chasing a cow in my backyard with a big knife. So, and I think Jordan finally caught the
I
cow,
caught the
and
cow,
that was the fat burger we talked about earlier. So,
Double.
any other questions or folks or comments before we call it a day for the Coach and Andy show?
Yes. Coach, I'm 61 years old, love the gym, but in need of a program.
Welcome to the Platinum Club. Forget about golden years. Elevate yourself. Platinum Club. Platinum's worth more than gold. We are the founding members of the Platinum Club. So, yes, my book, Physique After 50, has definitely program for beginners and even my own advanced 6-day program is in there as well. So you want to read Physique After 50. And then just for a perspective on aging, my follow-up book to that is called The Aging Proposition. You can find those at Scott Abel Fitness or on Amazon. At one time, I'm proud to say, both Physique After 50 and The Aging Proposition were number 1 and 2 on Amazon. So I'm very proud to say that as well. So yeah, thanks for that question. And at 61, what's the person's name? 61?
Douglas.
Douglas. You just keep looking at me. Forget about the bookends here. This is where it's at. So we got to stick together.
Do you still incorporate the TRX in your workout? I use them as part of my workout.
Sure. Again, it's just a tool, right? So I've been trying to get Andy to do the push-ups from the plank. I don't know if we've mastered that yet, or you got around to it yet.
No, I haven't. Yeah,
And that's
We're working on so many other things. Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
We got a lot of projects
Yeah.
going, including the hard gainer. But yeah, the push-up from the fully locked up plank. I don't even know if I should do this to you. You strong in the push-up?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Let's do it.
remember you just said that. Watch this, folks, because this is wicked hard. So yeah, okay, with no notice at all. All right. Famous last words. Yeah, I'm strong. Okay. So Krista, you might want to just rock the roll. So we'll move the bench, Andy. So get in a position like you're going to do the push-up right underneath these TRX
My head
hands.
here.
Well, behind it, you're going to put your hands in the stirrups. So your hands are going to go in here, right? And then you're going to do push-ups. So just let me separate them for you. There you go. All right. Yeah, get back into your push-up position. Don't worry, that'll hold you. I used to do them. Yeah. Bring them in more. Yeah, there you go. Walk it out. There you go. There you go.
Now do push-ups?
Yep. Nice and slow.
That's getting dangerous.
Oh yeah, I can do push-ups. I can rock the push-up. So there you go, folks. I believe me, in a few weeks you'd have that down. But tell me what that was like.
That was very
Yeah,
difficult.
no.
Very strange.
Yeah. So again, of the versatility of what we call tweakology, little differences. Like the other day we taught Krista the cross, the elbow to knee sit-up crunch on the Bosu, and the difference that made from doing it from the floor. Go ahead, Krista.
I love it. It's my favorite now.
They're all your favorite.
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna try those a few times. That's pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah, not today.
No. After your contest, for
When
sure.
no one's watching.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll get you very effective for front, posterior, and anterior. And even just doing a plank hold from that position.
Yeah.
Stay in a lockout position and go in and do a slow 20 count right through the anterior chain. Just a whole new adventure in pain in a good way. So yeah.
Which adjustable weights do you recommend for home use?
Great grab. We must have a lot of new viewers today, folks. We're glad to have you at the Coach and Andy Show. You can also follow us on our YouTube channel as well. So, my home dumbbells, I have these rotational Nautilus, okay? They go from 2.5 all the way to 52. And the good thing about these is you can offset the weight. So if I have, for instance, I have 12.5 on that side and 25 on this side. So it's good for things like goblet squats. All right, so you can offset the weight. You can't do that with most of the other ones. So that's a big deal there. Now I also have the power blocks. And the power blocks are color coded. And they go from 20 all the way to 90. All right, so again, if I'm doing complexes, I don't have to worry about, and you don't have to worry about changing weight. Look, folks. All right, I just changed the weight. That's how fast, all right? No unwrenching and de-wrenching and all that stuff. And then, of course, I have my full rack of heavy dumbbells, 100s, 110s, and 120s. That's about as heavy as this old man needs to go. Between that and an adjustable bench and the functional trainer, you can pretty much do anything. And tubing helps as well when you have little things like tubing attachments and you know how to connect them. For instance, I have, you can't see, but I have low and I have medium like this and I have high, and you can do simple things like I can just grab this, I can come out and I can do a chest fly, full range of motion, all right? I can turn that around and do rear delts, all right, while I'm doing any number of other things. So get a shot of those two, Krista, without me in the pretty impressive stuff. That's the Able Camp, folks. That's how we roll. That's how we do things. So all we need in the middle instead of me is the lovely Krista on the other end. But anything else, Krista, before we...
Good job. Nice job. Thanks. Thanks for all the info.
Appreciate Jordan taking time out of his time off from up at the oil fields to come join us live. He's never been live before, other than on a stage, of course, but that's different. So we appreciate him being with us and offering his time, and we appreciate Krista taking time off work, actually, to help us work the camera so we could bring this Facebook Live session to you. So thanks to Krista as well, everybody out there. Give her some thumbs and some hearts. Let her know that you appreciate her doing this for us. And you'll be able to find this later on YouTube, probably by the end of the day. Are they giving you some props, Krista?
Yeah.
Good. In that respect. All right. So that's the Coach and Andy Show for this week. Andy, parting thoughts?
RealAndySinclairFitness.com. Check it out. And Real Andy Sinclair on Instagram. Yeah. Daily posts and all sorts of little fitness and diet tidbits and
Pictures of you and Bob?
yeah, pictures
Bob.
of me and Bob. Yeah, of course.
That's wonderful, Bob. And pictures of you and Zeus we'll have to get.
Zeus,
So,
yeah.
So keep in mind, and Andy and I are getting this much closer to his project, Andy's Awesome Ab Circuits. We're almost done. He's got a whole diet thing where he's showing him cooking his food in his apron with nothing underneath and all the rest of it. So, so we're getting real close to having that done, folks. We'll be bringing that to you. We got Krista's glute training product coming. We got the Busy Woman's Training Home 16 circuit training program coming. We got the Hard Gainer solution in
Tons of
video
stuff. Yeah,
with Andy doing all the workouts, every single exercise demonstrated. Lots going on. So, thanks for being out there. If you weren't out there, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for us to be in here. So stay tuned, and we'll be back next week.